Welcome to this live telecast, friends. And I'm sharing something that I had shared yesterday. You can see a straight worm, noodle like worm at the lower end of the screen, and there is another one at the top end. Here. Here is the top end, top one, and there is one at the lower end. Now, these are unique things that I had never seen before. Why is this flickering? Excuse me. Excuse me, let me adjust it once. All right, now it's better. So yesterday I had seen this worm and I am still highly perplexed about its identification. There you can see it at the right hand side of the screen, a wavy structure, whitish, and it's very long compared to its width. You can just make out. Just imagine how big it is. And we are observing it at 400. It's around 500 times magnified. I'll still zoom it a bit more so as to see if we... Okay, we can see some movements in the body, some streaming happening in the body, but still we are not able to find a proper head. This is around 700 times magnified, more than 700 times. When we see this worm thing moving straight, and look at it, it's just tremendously long given its width. Just imagine the size of this animal, and it's just like flowing. Now I'll just run across with the body. We begin scanning the entire length of the body. You see it? It's so tremendously long. Just awesomely long. It's best seen in refracted situation. See, it just went by. So this is one thing which I had never ever come across before, and I've just found it. This typical thing, and it's moving straightly in a straight line. There is something wrong with the light today. A lot of flickering. Have we lost it? Here it is, this white line. This white line running diagonally, and there is another one which it is overcoming. We see a continuous streaming in the body. It is the body. See, we can make out some droplets. Maybe these are eggs, or I don't know what they are, but they are in constant movement. tried to focus on its head, but there was that was without success. I couldn't really make it out. What the head doesn't seem to be much differentiated from the body proper. It's almost the same. This is the tail end. And again, we don't see much of a differentiation in the tail section also. The tail segment doesn't seem to be much different from the rest of the body. And just as it has crossed, there is another one running almost horizontal and now going towards a dip. And there, where it is going, there is a bigger one again. So there are quite a few of them in this little droplet of water which I had collected from a cow shed. This one is still larger than the previous one. Okay, maybe we can try to focus on its head. See, there is no specific differentiation of the head part also. The head doesn't seem to be much differentiated. What is this thing? Totally intriguing. And it's so long. So long. This is really crazy stuff. This it is. See this one, this particular thing. I'll zoom out so as to give the perspective. We don't see anything much. And now as I zoom in, we see this straight line, horizontal line, which essentially is a worm, a kind of a parasite, and this blue greenish thing, okay, we see the tail going in. Must be coming out somewhere else. Here it is. No, not this. Here is another one. And they are very strong because once they move and if there is any debris in their way, the debris gets pulled along. We are trying to follow this one, but it's going in the debris. So we leave it and try to track this one. It is not at movement. So maybe we try. I don't know whether this is the head. Okay, this was the head portion because now it has started moving. We can make it out that it is moving because of the streaming. So these definitely are worms, but they're not threadworms because they're far, far thicker than what a threadworm is. They are not whipworms. They don't seem to have any spine on them or any attachment specialization, any organelle that would help them in attaching over to some host, like the hooks or something similar. They don't have anything of that sort. And to give a perspective of how big these are, I'll try to focus, bring this. This is around, okay, look at this length. This is around 600 times magnified, 400, this is 600 times magnified. And we can see the length of this individual. And to bring to perspective, there still is a bit of flickering today. I don't know why. Something's wrong with the light system. That was my shake of hand. See, this is still going on and on and on. We can hardly see it now. This is at 400 times magnification, 500, 600, 700 times, 800 times approximately. And you can see the length of this worm. What is more interesting is that they prefer moving in straight line. In the, then there's another one at the bottom. Here they are crossing each other. We don't see any specific structures at the base or the end part. There are no specializations. Okay, so now they are rubbing over each other. At 800 times magnification, this is something weird to come across, something so extensively long. And going by the microscopic proportions, this is crazy, to say the least. Okay, I was trying to give a perspective of the size. You can make an assumption with the bacteria that is crossing by, the size of this animal. It's not, now it's moving, so they can move both the ways. This one was moving initially, when we saw this, it was moving from 5 o'clock to 7 o'clock direction, and now it's in the reverse. Now it is, okay, as it is going, it's pulling this debris as well. So they are pretty stout, strong. You can see that debris, this bunch of big bunch of debris is being pulled. These are pretty strong animals, and just to give a comparison of its size, I'm trying to find some other organism that we generally know. So that these are bacteria. So you can just see the size that they have, their massiveness. Hope I'll find some. I'd seen a Vorticella a while back in the same slide. See, another one going straight up. Let me try and find a Vorticella here. Or any other organism for the sake of comparison. Don't find anything more. There was a Vorticella. I just want to bring that in focus so as to give you a kind of perspective of scales, how large these worms are. Unfortunately, I'm not finding any other organism to scale with the, the what this worms that we have seen. These are bizarre worms, and my best, wildest guess is that they could be something related to the guinea worms. But as we know, the guinea worms are no longer prevalent. So there could be something else. Okay, I'll switch over to a lower magnification so as to find something worthy of being able to scale up. This is 10x objective, and now I'm going to 4x objective. At 4x objective, this is what we have. Let me find something. Nothing. See, we don't find any clue of any worm at this 40x magnification, but the moment I turn to 80 to 100x, things would change, and we'll find some worms here and there. And at 100x, even at 100x, they are very difficult to see. So now I'll proceed to 100x. And try to find any worm here. Search for any worm, but there isn't any visible. So I'll scan from the lens. Nothing visible, nothing visible, nothing visible. What is this stuff? This is a filament of the algae, not that worm. Uh-oh. Nothing more. Those worms are really tricky to find, though they are very large, but since they are very thin and they are almost translucent, transparent, it's very difficult to. Here is one, surely, and we can see it's moving as well. There's a defined movement of the body. See this? Now just to bring this in perspective again, see the length of it. See how long it is, like a highway, straight like a highway, moving like a train. And adjacent we have a filament of that algae so as to give a comparison and an understanding that it is different from this algae. It's not that algae, it's something else. So it's moving straight like a train, and I don't know what it is. And probably it's slow because it's pressed under this filament. Maybe after it's crossing this filament, it will be a little fast. That's a presumption, but that hardly makes any difference. Okay, now we trace it to the tip, straight, slight bend towards the right, but still largely straight like a highway. This is crazy thing. I haven't seen anything like this before and have no clue as to what it could be. I've tried searching literature for the idea of this kind of any organism. The best I came across were threadworms, pinworms, hookworms, but they don't fit this criteria. It's extremely long. Given its diameter, it's extremely long. And it's very, 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 very thin than those hairworms or the threadworms, even the guinea worms. But I presume it could be a larva of the guinea worm or the loa loa. But again, that is just an assumption. There is no surety of it. Now we have two in the frame. There are two in frame. I wish I had a little more power of magnification, but it's just not working. So I'll end it out now and request you all to please, if you find any clues regarding the identification of this creature, please leave a comment mentioning what you understand. Thank you so much.